This is not a video I was planning to make. I've been asked to make this by many of my followers and subscribers on my channel, and so I am going to do that now. I suffered from heart arrhythmias. You've probably seen the video on that. I had serious arthritis in my hip. I was overweight. I suffered from gout. I suffered from stomach ulcers, acid reflux, and mental health issues, mostly around anxiety. I lost 35 pounds. My heart rhythm is perfect. My hip arthritis is gone. I'm running 10 miles now through the mountains. I have no more acid reflux, and I'm in a really good state of mind. How did I do that? No meds, no surgery. Now, that's not to say you never need meds or surgery, because obviously there are times where that is the last option, and it's a very good option. But I managed without. So, if you want to know what I did and what I ate, which is really what the question has been, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Shapefixer. I'm Andrew. I am now a lifestyle coach and a nutrition coach, and I'm going to go through what I eat, but also very importantly, how I eat and why I eat it. So if you just want a boring, dry list of what I eat, please look in the notes below the video, and there you will find it. If you're more interested in the thinking behind this and the philosophy behind it, so that you can work out what's going to be best for you, then join me for this video. Now, I don't like diets, and I've said that before. I find the whole concept of a diet quite restrictive. It's rules-based. It's sort of as if one size fits all, which of course it doesn't, because no diet takes account of your personal circumstances. And then what happens is we find them difficult and we break with them, and then we feel like we failed and we give up. So I don't do diets and labels. It does work for some people, and maybe the discipline of that helps them, and that's wonderful. But there are different ways you can do this. So what I prefer to do is, because it's personal, I think we should all start off with the science. And the science of nutrition is really just biochemistry, how your body works and what food is made of and what happens to it when it goes inside your body. These things aren't debatable. This doesn't depend on what you like or fancy or would prefer to believe. It's just simple chemistry. Unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, science progresses and we learn new things. So we need to be open to new research, new information, and new understanding. So if we are going to fall back on the science that we learned when we were at school, in my case that would be in the 1980s, it's going to be very out of date science, and a lot of it is actually incorrect. So we need to keep up with it as much as we can. Once we understand what the latest science is, we need to take account of our personal circumstances. Like, how do you apply that science to work out a nutrition program? I try not to say diet. For you, cost will come into it. What can you afford? Availability, which depends where you live and what's in the supermarket where you live. There are cultural issues, which could be religious issues. It could be ethical issues that you can't eat certain things. There's a matter of taste, which is personal, because you've got to enjoy what you eat. If you just hate it, what you're eating, that's not going to be a sustainable way of eating. And then there are medical questions, like you may have particular conditions that you need to try and increase certain types of food to help you manage those conditions or to help you recover from those conditions. And you may have allergies and intolerances to certain things that other people don't suffer from. So you've got to build all that personal circumstance in around the science. Okay, so first up, I will say, don't eat sugar. And when we talk about sugar, and I've done videos on sugar, and I'm going to put it in the links down below here, please go and have a look at the video on sugar that explains from a chemistry point of view what sugar actually is, because it seems somehow to be contentious. Sugar is sugar. Carbohydrates are sugar. Starches are sugar. They're made of sugar molecules and nothing else whatsoever. They are sugar. So pasta is sugar. Okay? There's no such thing as a complex carbohydrate and a simple carbohydrate. That's just got to do with how long the chain of sugar molecules is. It's the same thing. Some of them break down more slowly and take longer to absorb their sugar. So we need to cut sugar because sugar boosts your insulin level, and when we eat as much as we do now in the modern world, because there's far too much of it, our insulin level is elevated too high too often. That leads to obesity, it leads to diabetes, it leads to a lot of inflammation, it feeds cancer. Alzheimer's is linked to sugar, Parkinson's is linked to sugar. It is just a complete health disaster. So we need to cut our sugar, and we don't need sugar. There is no such thing as an essential sugar. Our bodies operate perfectly well without any sugar whatsoever. The tiny little amount of sugar that you do need for your brain is produced by your liver. Your liver has an amazing ability to convert protein into sugar in the tiniest little amounts, just enough to keep your brain happy. So the rest of you doesn't need it. Cut the sugar, so cut the carbs, and increase your fat and oil intake. Fats and oils have been demonized, mostly by the food industry, for decades now, incorrectly. You need to increase your fat and oil intake, and there's only two real rules you need to know. One is try to get more omega-3 oils, which you get from oily fish or from a vitamin omega-3 supplement, and try and decrease your trans fats, okay, which have been modified in a laboratory, in a chemical lab, to make them last longer on the shelf. So margarine, drop the seed oils, and eat more omega-3s. Every other kind of oil and fat is perfectly fine. Saturated, unsaturated, that's a nonsense story. They're all fine. It's noise. So, less sugar, more fat. How you eat? Fasting. Fasting is absolutely vital for our health. We eat too many meals. We've got this cultural belief that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and we've all just accepted that, and we've all just said it, and our parents said it, and our grandparents said it, and you know who invented that? John Kellogg, to get people to eat Kellogg's breakfast cereal. And that was about 120 years ago, and then in the 1940s there was a very aggressive marketing strategy around grape nuts, which was another kind of cereal. And one of the voiceovers in this advertising campaign was, nutrition experts agree that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, which they lifted from the Kellogg's thing. And it's complete and utter nonsense. There's no such thing as the most important meal of the day. What's important is to eat. When you are hungry and when you're not hungry, you don't need to eat. So fasting, which really just means not eating when you're not hungry, 2 meals a day are plenty, and if you give your body a gap of say 14, 15, 16 hours, which is not difficult to do from dinner to the next day, where you're not eating, so many other processes in your body can operate to clean things out and rebuild and help fight infections and lower inflammation, and so much more important stuff goes on in your body if you're not constantly digesting food. And of course, if you're not eating sugar, then you won't get hungry. That's the other problem with sugar and insulin, is that you feel hungry all the time because you get these spikes of blood sugar and insulin, and it plays havoc, and we end up eating too much. So we need to be fasting. When we're not eating, then we're not eating. We need to manage things like stress, which is much more difficult to put our finger on, because stress, we have all these external circumstances that cause us to stress, and you can't improve your job situation or your personal love life or any of that stuff by changing what you eat. But when you change what you eat, you can help how you deal with those inputs. So lowering inflammation in your body actually helps you put up with more stuff before you actually get chemically stressed. So that's another reason to be cutting the sugar and keeping the insulin down. And if we eat healthy food and we fast and we try to have a bit more discipline around our sleep cycle, it will help us manage our stress. And then exercise. Exercise is not only physical, it's also mental. So again, it affects our stress levels and it stimulates our body processes. And it doesn't have to be violent exercise. You can go walking. It can be quite gentle exercise, but to try and get some exercise into your routine is very important. So what do I eat? Well, you've guessed, I don't eat sugar. I don't eat carbohydrates. For protein, I eat meat, I eat chicken, I eat fish, I eat eggs. I am not a vegan. I am not a carnivore. You can be a carnivore and get most of what you need. You can be a vegan and get most of what you need. I'm not sure that a vegan, you're not going to get everything you need. You will need some supplements, vitamin B complex supplements, iron supplements. But you can be pretty healthy as a vegan, and you can be perfectly healthy, it appears, as a carnivore. I just don't choose to be a carnivore or a vegan. And I want to have more options. And so I eat meat, fish, chicken, and eggs. The best meat you can eat is probably mince, or ground beef, I think it's called in America. It has more fat in it, and it generally has maybe a little bit of cartilage and some other minerals in it. But don't be afraid of the fat on the meat. I eat a lot of bacon. It's wonderful. A lot of eggs. The whole cholesterol thing is nonsense. I've done a video on cholesterol. Have a look down here again for the link to my video on cholesterol. Dietary cholesterol is not even on the warning list of the American Heart Association anymore. They've removed it because dietary cholesterol makes no difference. The amount of cholesterol you eat has got nothing to do with what's actually going on inside your body. Your liver makes cholesterol depending on how much cholesterol your body needs, and cholesterol is very important. So if you eat a lot of cholesterol, your liver will make less, and if you cut it all out of your diet, your liver will make more. So dietary cholesterol is a complete and utter non-issue. So enjoy your eggs. Fish, the oily fish are better, the sardines and the fish from the cold oceans, because they're higher in omega-3 oils. I eat veggies. I eat a lot of vegetables. I prefer the leafy vegetables to the root vegetables because the root vegetables tend to have more starch in them, which is sugar. So I go for the leafy green vegetables, which are very high in minerals, particularly magnesium, which is in the chlorophyll, which makes them green. I eat salads, I eat seeds, I eat nuts. Dairy, yes, I eat dairy. I don't drink milk because milk is very high lactose content, which is sugar, but the cream doesn't have sugar in it. I use butter, I eat yogurt, unsweetened yogurt or kefir, and cheese, and I like cheese. And then I cook with butter or olive oil, so I avoid the trans fats, which I mentioned earlier, like the seed oils. Cook with olive oil, cook with butter, cook with lard. Pork lard is very healthy to cook with. I don't eat grains, and I probably don't need to say that because I've already said I don't eat carbohydrates, but let's just stress that grains are full of carbohydrates, and they are also inflammatory. And if we're trying to keep our inflammation down so that we can heal and be healthier, then we don't want to be eating grains. So that means oats, rice, corn, wheat, anything with wheat or made from wheat, bread, whole wheat bread. Whole wheat bread is nonsense. It's still bread, and it's not whole wheat. It's all been ground up and smashed up to make the bread. And then the bread is rolled around in some whole grains that stick on the outside, and now, hey presto, it's whole grain bread. What complete rubbish. It isn't. It's still bread. Stay away from the wheat. Okay? Quite apart from the fact that a lot of people are gluten intolerant, whether you are or not, you shouldn't be eating wheat. Then there's the question of supplements, and let's just get our heads around the fact that supplements are food. Okay, they're not medication. Supplements are food. If you put olive oil on your salad or you put salt on your dinner, you're supplementing. You're doing it already. Those are supplements. So if there are certain minerals or vitamins that you are not getting from your food because that food is not available or it's not good quality food, then just get a supplement to make sure that you get those chemicals into your body that should be in your food and maybe aren't. Okay, what supplements do I take? Again, it's personal. It depends on your condition, depends on if medical issues you have, depends on any deficiencies you might have, and depends on the food that is available to you that you can eat. But I take a lot of electrolytes, particularly magnesium and potassium, partly because I used to have a heart arrhythmia and I really don't want it to come back, but also because I do a lot of sports, so I sweat a lot, so I lose a lot of salts. So I put a lot of salt in my food, and I take magnesium and potassium supplements. I take a zinc supplement because I'm a man at the age of 60 and I have prostate that tends to want to swell up, and then I have to go and pee 3-4 times in the night. But if I take a daily zinc supplement, it keeps it under control, it keeps my testosterone level right, and I don't have to keep getting up to go and pee, so I have a good night's sleep. So I take zinc. And I take omega-3 oils because I know that there isn't enough in the food, and I don't eat sardines as often as I should. And omega-3 oils are the most important fat that we can take. Those are the supplements I take. You don't have to take them. Maybe you take a vitamin C supplement, or maybe you're a vegan and you're taking vitamin B complex supplements. There are reasons for taking different supplements, but don't be afraid of supplements. Supplements are not medication, they are food. The list of what I eat is in the notes down here below, so you can go back and have a look at it in a sort of bullet point type of order. And remember, it's not a diet. There aren't rules. There are principles. There are guiding principles to help you decide what to eat and when to eat it and whether to eat it or not. And I cheat. I have kids. When my daughter makes cookies, I eat them. What am I going to do? She's 12. I'm not going to say no. Every Friday we have ice cream in the house because we like it. My mother likes it particularly, and she's 96 and she loves her weekly ice cream. So we have ice cream. Okay, it's not healthy. We're not going to die. I drink wine once a week. I'm not going to die from a glass of wine. I understand that it's not good for me, and if you don't drink at all, that's brilliant. Well done. I applaud you. Don't beat up on anyone else who does want to have a glass of wine. It's okay. We need to sweat the big things. If we drop the sugars and the carbohydrates and we're getting enough fat and we're eating whole food more than processed food, which means that meat looks like meat, fish looks like fish. Okay, it hasn't been over-processed and it's not full of extra chemicals. We are going to be 95% of the way to being perfectly healthy. And isn't that what matters? And we need to be happy. So having an ice cream once a week makes us happy. Flexible, happy, healthy. It is therefore sustainable, and we can eat like that long term, and it isn't like being on a diet to achieve a particular result with an end point and then we throw it all out of the window again. So there you go. I hope that all helped. Click a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm putting lots of links down below to videos I've made about the various things I've spoken about here, and thank you for your time, and thank you for asking me to do this. I think it was worth it.